How about we start with your name and title?
My name is Sean Sosa. I serve as the men's minister for Your Thriving Family and ministry coordinator for Masquerade Ministries. I've been serving with the organization for about 4 years, but the actual story starts back about 7 years ago when my wife and I were married, and it was a happy start. It was the typical Christian marriage. You do all the premarital courses and the honeymoon, but sooner than later we started fighting. We were fighting all the time, and finances were a problem, and I had a little secret. I was using pornography without her knowing. Pornography may have been the main fighting point, but what that does, it defeats any type of connection. So therefore trust was right out the window, and that erosion of trust, how can you have a relationship without trust? I found myself always promising, it'll be different this time. I'll do different, I'll get help. And I bought books, I went to weekend seminars, weekend retreats, but the problem still ended up coming back. So one day she gave me this ministry card for a guy named Roy Mitten. And I first looked him up, and my initial thought was, I don't need help in being a husband and a father and power and control. I just have a problem with pornography. That's it. But I contacted him, and we met for a coffee. And during that coffee, he talked about things like responsibility, entitlements, respect, and safety. And it piqued my interest. I remember showing up to my first group session, and I was nervous. I'm like, what's gonna happen in there? The word vulnerability was a scary word for me. And I went in the first night and just felt welcomed. It was a group of guys that wanted to be better husbands, better fathers, better men. And as I started attending the groups that Masquerade Ministries and Your Thriving Families was putting on, I came to realize that I needed first to restore my relationship with Christ. Before I could restore my relationship with my wife, my first relationship to restore was with God. I think what made a difference with Your Thriving Family and Masquerade Ministries was that they focused on your belief. They focused what you believed about the situation. They focused on the why behind it. I think if I had come to the organization 6 months earlier, I could have restored, our relationship could have been restored with my first wife. But enough damage had happened already at that point. And I think that was the calling at that moment, that what would it look like if we can help other families earlier? And at that point, Roy and Tiffany were running the whole organization. So I felt called at that moment to join the journey. So I started out by as simple as making coffee and getting the rooms ready, to then facilitating men's groups, facilitating other workshops. And then I came into full-time ministry as a missionary, because I'm passionate about helping families. Thanks to Masquerade Ministries and Your Thriving Family, Jana and I have been married for a year. And in this past year, I've got to experience what it's like to have partnership, what it's like to be on the same level, to actually make decisions together. There's so many families that need help. So I ask you right now, what is your part to play in this journey? Masquerade Ministries and Your Thriving Family is growing again. And we need your help.